Hi everyone. In today's lesson we're going to be looking at how to solve square root equations. So in your notebook, please put today's subtitle, Square Root Equations. Believe it or not, solving square root equations is extremely simple, and usually somewhere in your procedure will involve one major step. Let me demonstrate what this major step is. Put an example please. Suppose I ask you to solve x in the following. The square root of x is equal to 5. Now the major step that is involved in this procedure is squaring both sides once you have the square root expression isolated. So square root of x all squared equals 5 squared. And the way this works is that when you square something that's being square rooted, it in fact eliminates the effect of the square root, leaving you just the expression inside the square root symbol. And on the other side, you end up with your final result, in this case, 25. As you can see, somewhere along the lines, once you've isolated the actual square root expression, all that's left to do is square both sides. Let's take a look at a more complicated example. Suppose this time I ask you to calculate what is the square root of x plus 2, and let's throw in something extra here, minus 1 equal to 6. So before we're allowed to square both sides, you must first isolate the actual square root expression. So we must eliminate that negative 1. As you can see, normal equation procedures will apply. So we end up with x plus 2, and when you move the negative 1 to the other side of the equal sign, it becomes plus 1, and that will give us 7. And once the square root expression is isolated, then you are free to square both sides. So squaring both sides gets rid of the square root symbol, so that leaves our x plus 2. And squaring the right side gives us 49. And then finally, x is equal to 47. Next, I would like for you to try an example on your own. Suppose I ask you to solve x in the following square root equation. The square root of negative x plus 3 minus 5 is equal to 4. Go ahead, pause the video and try it now. Alright, let's see how you guys did. First, let's get rid of that negative 5. So we have the square root of negative x plus 3 is equal to 9. Now I'm going to square both sides. So that will give me negative x plus 3 is equal to 81. Let's finish isolating the x. Negative x is equal to 78. Therefore, x is equal to negative 78. Before we continue, I would like to perform a little self-check to see that negative 78 is the correct answer. So let's plug it back in. So if we have the square root of negative 78, and then plus 3, and then subtract 5. Hopefully everything will give us 4. So let's keep going. Negative of negative 78 gives positive 78 plus 3, subtract 5. 78 plus 3 is 81, subtract 5. Square root of 81 is equal to 9, subtract 5. And our final answer, 4. So in fact, our negative 78 was correct. Alright, let's continue with a tougher example. Suppose this time I ask you to calculate x in the following equation. 3 multiplied by the square root of 2x plus 1, and then plus 4 equals to 10. So we have an extra number here in front of the square root symbol that's being multiplied. So, as usual, all standard equation techniques apply. let's isolate that square root expression. So we have 3 multiplied by 2x plus 1 is equal to 10 minus 4, which is 6. Let's move the 3 over to the other side. So that will give us 2x plus 1 equals 6 divided by 3, which is 2. And now that the square root expression is isolated, let's square both sides. That will give us 2x plus 1 is equal to 4. And then just finish isolating your x. So 2x is equal to 3. Therefore, x is equal to 3 over 2. I would like you to try our final example, please. Suppose I ask you to solve x in the following equation. 1/2 multiplied by the square root of 3x plus 4, and then subtract 10 equals to 5. Go ahead, pause the video and give it a shot. Alright, let's see how you guys did. So first things first. 1/2 multiplied by 3x plus 4. Let's move the negative 10 over. That will give us 5 plus 10, which is 15. And then let's move the 1/2 over. So that will give us square root of 3x plus 4 is equal to 15 divided by 1/2, which gives us 30. Now that our square root expression is isolated, let's square both sides. That will give us 3x plus 4 is equal to 900. Let's finish isolating the x. That will give us 3x is equal to 896. Therefore, our x is equal to 896 over 3. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, solving square root equations is not difficult whatsoever.